It was raining that day. The kind of cold, merciless rain that seemed to wash away more than just dust. It took hope, warmth, even the sense of belonging. People walked briskly, umbrellas up, eyes low, hearts closed. No one noticed the small girl sitting on the corner bench, drenched, shivering, and crying softly into the sleeves of her oversized coat. Except for one. 17-year-old Daniel Parker was rushing home from school, backpack clutched tightly to shield it from the rain. He had football practice, a part-time job at the grocery store, and a mountain of homework waiting at home. But something about the sight of the crying girl, her soaked sneakers, the mud splattered on her jeans, and the hopeless way she stared at the street, froze him in his tracks. He hesitated for only a moment before walking toward her. "Hey," he said gently, kneeling beside her. "Are you okay?" The girl looked up, startled. Her eyes were red, but something about them shone, like a flicker of light trapped in darkness. She was maybe 10 or 11. She didn't speak, just stared. "My name's Daniel. Do you need help? Are you lost?" A long silence followed. Then she whispered, "My mom never came back. She said she would, but she didn't." Daniel's heart dropped. The rain didn't seem to matter anymore. He sat beside her, letting the water soak into his jeans. "Okay," he said softly. "You're not alone anymore." He took her to the police station. Bought her a hot chocolate on the way, using the last of his lunch money. Stayed with her until social services arrived. He never got her name, she didn't say, and he didn't ask. But before they took her away, she reached into her coat pocket, pulled out a tiny silver pendant shaped like a star, and pressed it into his hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "You made me feel seen." And just like that, she was gone. 15 years later. Daniel Parker was no longer a teenager. He was a paramedic now, working the night shift in Chicago, chaotic, exhausting, and emotionally draining. Saving lives didn't always feel heroic. Most days, it just felt like survival, for him and the people he tried to help. He had grown hardened by years of pain and trauma. The little boy who once gave up his lunch money for a stranger had disappeared somewhere under the weight of emergencies, sleepless nights, and memories he didn't have time to process. Until the night everything changed. It was a routine call, a multi-vehicle accident on the highway. He and his partner rushed to the scene, sirens slicing through the quiet night. Wreckage everywhere, glass, smoke, and chaos. They split up. Daniel found a man pinned inside a crushed SUV. Unconscious. Pulse fading. Time was running out. "Stay with me, sir," he said, his voice steady though his hands shook. "We're gonna get you out." Then everything went black. A massive chunk of twisted metal came loose from above, crashing down and pinning Daniel beneath it. The last thing he remembered was the cold. The way it crawled through his limbs. The unbearable weight pressing down. And the soft whisper of panic, "This is how it ends." But it didn't. He woke up 3 days later in the hospital. Bandaged. Bruised. But alive. "You're lucky," the nurse said, checking his fore. "A trauma surgeon operated on you the moment you came in. She saved your life." "Who was she?" Daniel croaked, his throat dry. The nurse smiled. "She's a new resident. Dr. Evelyn Hart. Doesn't talk much. But she stayed by your side the entire night." The name didn't ring a bell. But something tugged at the back of his mind. Later that evening, the door creaked open. A young woman stepped in, white coat over blue scrubs, clipboard in hand. Her eyes scanned the chart, then met his. Something about her felt familiar. "I'm Dr. Hart," she said. "You're very lucky. You had internal bleeding and a collapsed lung. We managed to stabilize you just in time." "Thank you," he whispered. She nodded. Then paused. Her eyes lingered on him longer than necessary. She stepped closer, pulled up a chair. You don't remember me, do you? Daniel blinked. Confused. Have we met? She reached into her pocket. Pulled out a small, worn pendant. A silver star. His breath caught. I was the girl, she said, her voice shaking slightly. 15 years ago. You sat beside me in the rain when everyone else walked past. You gave me kindness when I had nothing. I kept this all these years. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. I always wondered what happened to you, he said. I went through foster homes. Hard times. But that day, you made me believe I mattered. That someone cared. That small act changed everything. I told myself I'd find a way to give that back someday. They sat in silence, both overwhelmed by a moment that felt almost unreal. She smiled gently. I guess. I finally did. 3 months later. Daniel returned to work, not just healed physically, but renewed emotionally. The spark that had dimmed inside him was reignited. He started smiling again. Talking to his patients with more warmth. Volunteering time with youth programs. And every week, he met Evelyn for coffee. They became friends, then something more. Two lives that once brushed past each other on a rainy street had come full circle. At their wedding, Evelyn wore the silver star pendant. The same one he'd given her 15 years ago. Kindness doesn't need a stage or an audience. It doesn't need to be loud or grand. Sometimes, it's just a boy sitting beside a crying girl in the rain. Sometimes, it's a doctor staying up all night to save a stranger. And sometimes, it's the quiet way the universe reminds us that every good deed echoes back in ways we can't imagine. So if you ever get the chance to help someone, do it. You never know when that act of kindness might come back and save your life. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Pure Kindness Stories. Let's spread compassion, one story at a time.